Did you know you're consciously aware of just about 10% of the choices you make every single day? Consider that for a moment. Who or what is secretly deciding the other 90% of your life? Imagine the most dangerous manipulator you've ever encountered. The one who quietly undermines your relationships, sabotages your dreams, and secretly dictates your emotional reactions isn't someone else, but someone buried deep inside you. This hidden internal stranger is precisely what the renowned psychologist Carl Jung famously described as your shadow self. Have you ever shocked yourself with your own behavior? Maybe you've exploded in anger unexpectedly, felt a surprising wave of jealousy, or made impulsive decisions you later deeply regretted. In those confusing moments, you've probably asked yourself, what just came over me? According to Jung, these aren't random slip-ups, they're clear signals from the shadow you've ignored and denied your whole life. But why does this hidden self exist at all? From childhood, you're taught exactly what to display openly and what to hide. Your anger, suppress it. Your envy, deny it. Even your ambitions, desires, and true passions. Keep them quiet if they're deemed unacceptable. Poet Robert Bly described this hauntingly. We spend our life until we're 20 deciding what parts of ourselves to put into the bag, and we spend the rest of our lives trying to get them out again. Here's the alarming truth Jung revealed. Each trait you bury doesn't disappear. Instead, it gathers strength beneath the surface, silently shaping your unconscious actions. Jung warned everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. But perhaps most chilling is Jung's starkest warning of all. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. In other words, as long as you deny your shadow's existence, it will continue quietly controlling your relationships, decisions, and even your future, making you feel helplessly tossed around by invisible forces. Imagine you spend years denying your hidden anger until, in one moment of stress, all that repressed rage suddenly explodes, permanently destroying a relationship or job you've cherished. Sadly, it happens more often than you think, precisely because most people never face this hidden stranger inside themselves. But today, right now, you have a powerful choice. Will you continue blindly allowing your hidden shadow to control your life, or are you brave enough to finally meet this mysterious stranger within? Carl Jung's concept of the shadow isn't just psychology. It's a life-changing truth that explains why good people sometimes behave in ways that shock even themselves. As a child, you learn to show the world a carefully edited version of yourself. Anger was deemed unacceptable, selfish desires were labeled bad, envy was considered shameful. Every rejected trait was quietly shoved into your subconscious, locked away but never truly gone. Yet here's a startling revelation. Your hidden traits don't stay locked up quietly. Instead, they resurface subtly, influencing your actions, judgments, and relationships in ways you barely recognize. Ever found yourself intensely judging someone for arrogance or selfishness, only to later realize, uncomfortably, that you sometimes exhibit the very same traits? Jung called this phenomenon projection, warning us clearly the normal individual sees his shadow in his neighbor. Projection isn't merely hypocrisy, it's your shadow's desperate attempt to communicate. The traits you despise most in others are often clues pointing directly back at you, hinting at your unacknowledged darkness. Here's a disturbing thought. What if the very qualities you've despised in others your entire life actually contain the hidden keys to your greatest strength? Surprisingly, your shadow isn't entirely negative. Beneath anger, envy, and shame lie strengths and talents you've suppressed because society convinced you they were unacceptable. Maybe your boldness and creativity were dismissed as unrealistic or selfish, leading you to bury those powerful aspects of your identity. Those abandoned strengths didn't vanish, they remain within your shadow, quietly waiting to be rediscovered. To ignore your shadow means living an incomplete life, constantly vulnerable to unconscious impulses and sudden emotional storms. You've probably experienced it already. Self-sabotaging behavior, unexpected emotional reactions, or persistent anxiety about being found out. Each of these are subtle reminders that part of your authentic self remains buried. But why is confronting your shadow so rare if it's crucial for personal growth? Because, as Jung honestly stated, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. It's frightening and uncomfortable to admit there's darkness within. Yet the cost of ignoring your shadow is even greater, a life of unconscious conflict, repeated mistakes, and unrealized potential. Consider this deeply personal question. If your hidden self contains both your greatest fears and your greatest strengths, isn't it worth courageously exploring what's truly there? Imagine how life would change if instead of fearing your shadow, you harnessed its hidden power. Instead of sabotaging yourself unconsciously, you could finally live authentically, fully, courageously, and without fear. Right now, there are people who know your hidden insecurities better than you do. They understand your buried fears, your secret desires, and your suppressed anger, and they're actively using them against you. That sounds deeply disturbing, doesn't it? But here's the chilling reality Carl Jung urgently warned us about. If you refuse to acknowledge your shadow self, someone else inevitably will, and they'll exploit it mercilessly. History vividly demonstrates this terrifying truth. Consider how some of the most notorious figures in history didn't manipulate people by inventing new fears. Instead, they skillfully targeted the suppressed resentment, hidden prejudices, and unconscious insecurities already festering in people's shadows. Jung himself observed this firsthand, noting how entire nations fell victim to charismatic leaders who offered them scapegoats, enemies, and simplistic solutions, leveraging their buried darkness to provoke hatred, division, and violence. But shadow manipulation isn't only a historical phenomenon, it's happening around you daily, subtly and invisibly. Think about gaslighting, a sinister psychological tactic where someone repeatedly denies your perceptions, causing you to doubt your own sanity. Gaslighting works precisely because the manipulator knows your hidden vulnerabilities, your fears of being unloved, inadequate, or even crazy. By exploiting these shadow insecurities, abusers slowly erode your self-confidence until you can no longer trust your own mind. Advertisers exploit your shadow too. Ever felt inexplicably compelled by an advertisement despite knowing you don't need what it's selling? It's because skilled marketers know exactly how to stir up your hidden anxieties and insecurities, making you believe you're incomplete without their product. Politicians also expertly leverage your buried prejudices and fears, immigrants, outsiders, changes, knowing you're less likely to question these feelings if they remain unconscious. Here's a startling psychological fact. It takes your subconscious mind only 1/5 of a second to judge a stranger, often unconsciously projecting your hidden traits onto them. Think about that. Every day, your shadow quietly influences how you perceive everyone around you, shaping relationships in ways you never consciously realize. But here's the most unsettling truth of all. The more strongly you deny your shadow, the easier it becomes for others to control you. Carl Jung's stark warning echoes loudly. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. If you continue refusing to confront your hidden self, you surrender control to every manipulator willing to exploit your unconscious fears and desires. Yet consider this deeply empowering alternative. By bravely acknowledging your shadow, you reclaim your power. By understanding your hidden impulses and unconscious vulnerabilities, you strip manipulators of their control. No longer can someone use your buried insecurities against you because you've courageously faced them yourself. Integrating your shadow isn't merely psychological insight, it's an act of personal liberation and profound self-defense. So, let me ask you this critical question. Will you remain vulnerable, blindly controlled by hidden impulses and external manipulators? Or are you ready to courageously reclaim control by finally confronting the powerful shadow within yourself? Have you ever wondered why certain stories resonate deeply, haunting us long after we've heard them? The truth is, stories aren't just entertainment. They're powerful mirrors reflecting our deepest struggles. Long before Carl Jung named the shadow archetype, myths, legends, and literature vividly illustrated what happens when we deny or ignore our hidden selves, delivering lessons humanity desperately needed. Perhaps no story captures the shadow's devastating power more clearly than Robert Louis Stevenson's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Imagine yourself as Dr. Jekyll, a man desperate to be purely good, suppressing every undesirable trait until they burst forth uncontrollably as Mr. Hyde, a monstrous embodiment of everything he denied. The harder Jekyll tried to hide his shadow, the more powerful and destructive Hyde became. Stevenson's warning is clear. Deny your shadow and it will eventually control you entirely. Similarly compelling is Oscar Wilde's The Picture of Dorian Gray. Dorian, a charming young man, outwardly maintains perfect innocence while secretly indulging in corruption. Hidden away, his portrait gradually becomes grotesque, an external representation of his hidden self. Wilde's message couldn't be clearer. Your shadow, no matter how deeply hidden, will ultimately emerge, often catastrophically. The portrait reminds us vividly that no mask or persona can forever conceal what lurks within. Ancient myths tell the same powerful truth. Consider Theseus, the legendary Greek hero forced to enter a labyrinth to confront the Minotaur, a half-man, half-beast creature, symbolizing humanity's primal fears and darkest impulses. Theseus couldn't defeat this monster until he bravely faced it head-on, symbolizing the psychological truth Jung later articulated. Confronting your shadow directly is essential for true strength and growth. Even religious stories echo this truth. On the night of his enlightenment, the Buddha faced Mara, the embodiment of temptation, fear, and inner darkness. Buddha didn't achieve enlightenment by ignoring or denying Mara, but by calmly and courageously confronting his own shadow impulses directly. This profound lesson resonates deeply with Jung's insight. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. But here's an even deeper, transformative truth hidden within these powerful stories. Your shadow doesn't just contain darkness, it also hides immense strength, creativity, and resilience you've suppressed. Stories show us repeatedly that heroes become powerful precisely by confronting and integrating their shadows. When Frodo, in Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, recognizes his own potential to become like Gollum, he develops empathy and strength that carry him through impossible challenges. These stories aren't merely cautionary, they offer powerful hope and inspiration. They teach that confronting your shadow isn't about eliminating darkness, but transforming it. Jung affirmed clearly that integrating your shadow means consciously harnessing its hidden strength, creativity, and courage. These narratives, resonating across cultures and generations, teach us repeatedly that your hidden darkness can become your greatest power if you bravely face it. So here's a profound, life-changing question for you. Are you ready to confront your shadow? Will you enter your personal labyrinth and courageously meet your hidden self face to face, reclaiming its power as your own? Or will you continue hiding, living a life dictated by unconscious fears and hidden impulses? Today, you stand exactly where every hero you've admired has stood, facing the entrance to your own labyrinth, poised to courageously meet and transform your shadow. The choice now is entirely yours. If confronting your shadow is essential for reclaiming your hidden strength, how exactly do you face something you've spent your entire life running from? This journey might feel intimidating, even frightening, but it's undeniably powerful. Carl Jung articulated this beautifully, stating, "No tree can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell." To achieve genuine wholeness, you must courageously face the darkest parts of yourself. Not to destroy them, but to consciously integrate them into your life. But let's be clear, this isn't easy or comfortable. Jung openly warned that most people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. Yet the cost of avoidance is staggering. A life quietly controlled by hidden insecurities and buried impulses. You risk repeating patterns of emotional sabotage, relationship conflicts, and persistent anxieties that limit your potential and happiness. So how do you practically confront your shadow? It begins with radical self-honesty. Tonight, take just 5 minutes and write down 3 traits you deeply judge in other people. Perhaps you despise arrogance, dishonesty, or selfishness. Now, next to each trait, honestly note one moment in your life when you've exhibited that same behavior. This exercise may feel confronting, uncomfortable, even painful, but it's profoundly liberating. Modern neuroscience confirms this insight. Simply acknowledging and naming uncomfortable emotions significantly reduces their subconscious power over you. Another powerful method Jung recommended is active imagination, a technique where you directly engage with your shadow as though it's another person. Try imagining your shadow as a figure sitting across from you. Ask it questions directly. Why are you angry? What are you trying to protect me from? What hidden strength are you guarding? Often you'll discover beneath anger lies unresolved pain, beneath jealousy, fear of inadequacy. Your shadow isn't inherently evil, it's often wounded, misunderstood, and desperate to communicate. Your dreams offer another, vital tool for confronting your shadow. Jung viewed dreams as messages from your unconscious mind, frequently populated with shadow figures, characters who frighten or confront you. Instead of dismissing these dreams as mere nightmares, courageously ask yourself, what aspect of myself is this dream figure representing? Each dream becomes an opportunity to better understand your hidden fears and desires, bringing them into conscious awareness where they lose their destructive power. Remember, your shadow also contains hidden strengths and talents suppressed by social conditioning. Perhaps your childhood creativity was dismissed as impractical, or your bold assertiveness labeled inappropriate. Those valuable qualities never vanished. They reside in your shadow, waiting for you to rediscover them. Confronting your shadow isn't just psychological housekeeping, it's reclaiming the powerful potential you've unknowingly abandoned. Historically, warriors like the samurai deliberately faced their shadows, confronting their rage, fear, and impulses in safe training environments to master their emotional reactions in life-threatening situations. This ancient wisdom still resonates today. Firefighters, surgeons, and crisis responders intentionally face inner fears and hidden impulses in controlled simulations, building profound psychological resilience. Jung recognized this universal truth. Facing your darkness makes you extraordinarily resilient, calm, and composed even under severe stress. But here's a crucial insight. Integration is not a single moment, but an ongoing journey. Life continually reveals new shadows through transitions, like becoming a parent, changing careers, or facing loss. Each new shadow encountered is an invitation for deeper understanding, personal growth, and authentic power. By regularly acknowledging and integrating these shadows, your entire life transforms from unconscious reaction into conscious choice. Today, you face a profound choice. Will you bravely confront your hidden self, transforming unconscious fears into powerful insights? Or will you continue living only half awake, secretly controlled by impulses you've never fully understood? The answer to this question shapes your entire destiny. But know this clearly. Every courageous step you take toward shadow integration frees you from invisible chains, unlocking your deepest strengths, talents, and true authenticity. Now, standing at this crossroads, imagine clearly two distinct paths ahead of you. Down one path lies continued denial, a life controlled by hidden impulses, unexplained emotional outbursts, repeated relationship conflicts, and unrealized dreams. The other path, however, offers a profound transformation, embracing your shadow and finally becoming authentically whole. Carl Jung profoundly emphasized this moment of choice, warning, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Picture clearly a life no longer dictated by hidden fears or buried resentments, but guided instead by deliberate choices and genuine self-awareness. This future isn't mere fantasy, it's precisely what integrating your shadow promises. Throughout history, great myths and powerful stories repeatedly illustrate this truth. The heroes we deeply admire, from Theseus facing the Minotaur to Buddha confronting Mara, didn't achieve greatness by ignoring their darkness. Instead, each became whole precisely by courageously facing and integrating their shadows. Jung himself emphasized clearly, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. When you integrate your shadow, an astonishing transformation occurs. Anger no longer randomly sabotages your relationships. Instead, it becomes powerful courage to protect your boundaries. Envy ceases to poison friendships. Instead, it reveals hidden passions and motivates personal growth. Fear, once paralyzing, now deepens your empathy and understanding. The darkness you feared and avoided now enriches your entire life, becoming a profound source of wisdom, strength, and authenticity. Integration also radically improves your relationships. Recognizing your own hidden darkness makes you infinitely more compassionate toward others' struggles. You no longer project your insecurities onto friends or partners because you've courageously faced them yourself. Russian novelist Alexander Solzhenitsyn beautifully expressed this universal truth. The line dividing good and evil cuts through the heart of every human being. Understanding your shadow profoundly deepens your empathy, patience, and compassion for everyone around you. Moreover, integrating your shadow grants remarkable resilience. When life's inevitable storms arrive, loss, heartbreak, crisis, you'll navigate them calmly and confidently. Why? because you've already courageously confronted your deepest fears and hidden impulses. External challenges, however daunting, no longer overwhelm you because you've mastered your internal world first. Finally, picture yourself at dawn, standing at the edge of a vast, shadowy forest, symbolizing your inner darkness. Behind you linger all the hidden traits you feared: anger, shame, jealousy, insecurity. But now, as morning sunlight breaks through, you turn courageously toward these shadows. To your surprise, they're no longer frightening monsters, but merely lost parts of yourself waiting to be welcomed home. Jung expressed this moment poignantly. He who has faced his own dark ground gains himself an inner certainty which makes him capable of self-reliance. Imagine that profound self-reliance, knowing exactly who you are, free from subconscious sabotage, hidden insecurities, or buried impulses. Imagine finally living authentically, passionately, and freely because you've embraced your whole self completely. Your journey toward true authenticity begins right now. The next step towards reclaiming your hidden power is yours alone, but remember clearly, you never have to walk this transformative path alone. If you're ready to courageously integrate your shadow, transforming your hidden darkness into powerful strength, join a community dedicated to genuine self-discovery and lasting change. Hit the like button, share your insights in the comments below, and subscribe right now. Together, let's bravely embrace the shadows within, finally becoming fully human, authentically whole, and powerfully free.